that was able to make it, even though we didn't know if there was going to be snowmageddon going on or not. And I know people will be kind of struggling in because we're going to have an open house too, but I thought we'd just get started. I wanted to introduce Pastor Brenda North from United Methodist Church in Detroit Lakes. She has graced us with her presence today to give the convocation before we start and to install the new council members and your new mayor today. And then we'll have an open house, and we wanted to show off some of the designs that we have coming up in Lake Park, some of the proposals that we're going to be thinking about for the future of our city. So with that, Pastor North.
Thank you. I was so glad when Aaron asked me if I would offer the blessing today. When I grew up as a little girl in South Dakota, I was definitely Grandpa's girl. They literally have pictures of me walking in my grandpa's shadow and trying to make sure my legs went exactly where his legs went. And usually that meant being out at the workshop or being in the garden, but it also meant spending an inordinate amount of time in front of C-SPAN watching political debates. And that taught me two things. Even before I was in kindergarten, that process taught me two things. First of all, that politicians are very important people, and that it is not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not fun. But I know my grandpa understood that there is a certain kind of politician who is truly embodied the spirit of public service, who did the work to make the world a better place for everyone. And there was no higher calling in my grandpa's mind, and that has rubbed off on me. And as a pastor moving from community to community, you can see how decisions made by city leaders in the past make such a big difference for the future, whether for good or for ill. So I was a part of a town that 50 years ago had a chance to have a University of Minnesota in the community, and they said no. And so they built one an hour away. And 50 years later, this town still had such regret. Or the town where the city leaders just really refused to really take financial responsibility. And for generations, the community paid for that lack of responsibility. So I'm so honored to be here with Aaron and John and Amy to bless them in their work and to pray for their wisdom and guidance and to pray for this community as well, because the power that they have does not come from their office, but from the people. And from your cooperation, your ideas, and your sharing together as a community. So will you join me in offering a blessing? God of all people, weaver of the web of life, we thank you for the blessing of living in community. We thank you for the chance to be part of a community where everyone has a voice, where leaders have vision for a future that is better than the present. And we thank you very much for Amy, for John, and for Aaron, for the unique gifts each brings. And we ask now that you would pour out your blessing upon them and upon this community of Lake Park, that together this community might be a place where justice is brought to life more fully, where kindness is more completely nurtured, where opportunities for all people are plentiful. We ask now that you would work and send a spirit of cooperation, of openness, of hope for the future, and that the light of goodness would lead this community. Amen.
Carla.
No.
Carla, do you want to
I, Aaron Whitnable,
I, Aaron Lee Whitnable,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially
that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially
discharge the duties of office of mayor
discharge the duties of the office of mayor
of the city of Lake Park, Minnesota,
of the city of Lake Park, Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Who's next? I, John Anderson,
I, John Anderson,
do solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially
that I will faithfully, partially, and justly
discharge the duties of office of City Council Member
discharge the duties of the office of City Council
of the City of Lake Park, Minnesota,
of the City of Lake Park, Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. I, Amy Dagerstrom,
I, Amy Davidstrom,
do solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially
and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially
discharge the duties of office of City Council Member
discharge the duties of the office of City Council Member
of the City of Lake Park, Minnesota,
of the City of Lake Park, Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, we just had some brief remarks, and really I wanted to keep it brief so everyone got a chance to kind of mingle and enjoy some refreshments here. The future of Lake Park, and you'll see this design team, we were really fortunate for EDA and for Lonnie and for Becker County EDA to get the Minnesota design team to come to Lake Park and put up some designs. And what's great about these designs that we'll be looking at as we go forward in the future as a city is that it takes advantage of a lot of the resources and assets that we already have. It's not necessarily building a lot of things that are new, but just reusing things that are already here. And that's one thing as mayor that I would be pushing for as over the next 4 years that we do. Starting with the lake restoration, doing a little bit of redevelopment of downtown, getting our bridge restored that connects over, which is more of the county and Burlington Northern, but to be an advocate for the city to make sure that these things are getting done in a timely manner so that the people that do live here and reside here have a reason to stay and can take some enjoyment and pleasure in the town that we live in with all the things that we have to offer. So with that, let's have some cake and punch, all right?